originally was just going to do my presentation on loss. And then I realized that kind of sounded sad, and I didn't mean for it to sound sad. So I switched it to looking at what you can gain from going through loss. Because loss is kind of impossible to avoid. It's going to come wherever. So the books I looked at were The Optimist's Daughter by Eudora Welty and then The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. And both of these, the main characters deal with loss in the way of physical death, which is kind of interesting because both characters deal with it very, very differently. And it's interesting to see how Holden, from The Catcher in the Rye, he lost his brother Allie to cancer, and he went in the way of depression, and he didn't really try and get out of it. He sought out lots of attention in the beginning, and then it quickly became a want for walking alone. He hated people. He thought the world was horrible and just full of really, really bad people. And instead of looking at the bright side of his situation, he took a much sadder solo route. Whereas he could have put a much more positive spin on it. And Laurel, from The Optimist's Daughter, she lost her father, is how she experienced loss. And so she moved from Chicago back to her hometown in Louisiana just to go to his funeral. And so she came back to her hometown, her home, and she had the craziness of this whole funeral. And she realized after being in her hometown and being around all the people she grew up with that she missed the feeling of having family and friends all around her, which she lacked when she was in Chicago. And so having her father's death, she was able to reconnect with something she really loved, which was how she took the spin of loss. And so it's obvious to see they went in very, very opposite directions. Holden went with the depression and the loneliness of experiencing loss, while Laurel found growth and understanding through losing her father. So both family and relative deaths, but very, very opposite sides. And this metaphor may be a bit of a stretch, but these are actually both the same piece of art. And the only difference with this one is that this one has light shed down on it. And so you can see that the shadows and the light on this piece create a much more beautiful image than just these wooden blocks on this side. And it's also really obvious to see how popular loss is with cinema we have today, movies, losing pets, losing relationships, losing dreams, and any Kelly Clarkson song you listen to talks about loss today. And so just looking at how common a theme it is in today's world, it's really obvious to see that it's actually a choice. And so what I learned from doing this project was that you can choose either path when it comes to loss. The only difference is one leads you to growth and acceptance, and the other will lead you to